I am Philip Davis. In this episode on mental health, I allow my vulnerabilities to be exposed. Some of the signs of mental health issues are inability to focus or express oneself, feeling sad, hopeless, or helpless, feeling irritable, frustrated, or restless, excessive anger or hostility, changes in appetite or health, decline in personal care, increased sensitivity to sight, sounds, smell, or touch, feeling disconnected from oneself or surroundings. The inability to focus or express oneself is one you will witness from me in this episode. Do not be alarmed. Feeling disconnected from oneself or surroundings is a rare one for me, but I have experienced it. The inclination was to edit this video to keep my vulnerabilities concealed, but at this point in my journey, I feel that for me to succeed in reaching my next pinnacle, I need to allow my traumas and or mental health issues that I battle with to unfold right here and now. Prepare to accept humiliation, judgment, scrutiny, or praise that may come from this. I know that I am a great being on the way back to higher self, the God within. This time around, I shall remain.
Brothers come tap in. Brothers come tap in. Brothers come tap in, come tap in, come tap in.
On this episode, we're going to look a little bit into mental health. Got a slide here that I'm going to share. Pull it up real quick and we'll jump in. Okay, so I can't remember how many slides it is, but we'll just go ahead and get it. So we're going to talk a little bit about mental health. Diving right in. What is mental health? Mental health is simply a person's emotional, psychological, and social well-being. What is a mental health issue? A medical condition that affects a person's thinking, emotions, or behavior. And down at the bottom, I have a asterisk, and I kind of summed up a mental health issue in my own words. To me, it's anything in the mind that prevents a person from morally or ethically functioning as a sane human being. Breaking the stigma. Why is mental health misunderstood? Mental health is often misunderstood due to the stigma which stems from the lack of understanding the nature of the mental illness itself. It is due to negative stereotypes portrayed in the media and the belief that people with mental illnesses are responsible for their own conditions. And down in asterisks, I have the best thing to do is talk about it. And I think that right there is a good point for us to kind of just, digest the few slides that I dropped in and kind of give our response on it, how we feeling about things. So does anybody have a reaction or response about mental health or mental health issues? How's everybody feeling about it?
I think in our community, we don't take it as serious as we should. I think we think it's more of a white issue. Like when when a white man gets arrested for doing a hate crime, they usually tie it to mental health. So they're quick to say it's because of mental health. But in our community, that's not usually what it is. But I think us in the Black community, we tend to hold things in. We tend to do what we not do what we're doing now and talk about it. We don't want to seek counseling. We don't believe in counseling. We think that's unnecessary. Why should I talk to a man about my own self, what I feel? But I did research a little bit, and I saw that this got me by surprise. But I saw that Black or kids under the age 13 are like twice as likely to commit suicide than white children. And I just thought that was because that's, you don't hear about Black kids committing suicide like that. You mostly I hear about white kids doing it. So I just thought that was crazy. But yeah, I think like you said, just a lack of understanding. We seem to not understand the severity of it, and it actually exists in our community.
Some people don't want people. Some people say I don't want somebody all up in my business too.
Yeah. The our community's bad for that, but mental health doesn't have a color to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to notice like we starting to tie race into it. Mental health
Hmm.
has nothing to do with race.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You just it's just something that needs to be talked about that isn't really talked about enough. So it could be more understood. That's the reason why, like it says in here, you know what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons why it's misunderstood because it's not rarely talked about. And it's also, like I said, tied to a negative stereotype. So
Yeah, some people don't want to.
that makes people not want to talk about it as much, you know. But go ahead.
Right. Some people it's embarrassing to them, so they don't want to be embarrassed. They feel like it's they're gonna be shamed or something, so they say it's just embarrassing to them, so they can't get past the feeling of they think that it's just embarrassing. But we have to start looking at it as it's more important to get help than to hold our feelings of so-called being embarrassed.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
mostly on the men's side. So, Kid, when you was doing your when you looked it up, when you saw that about the age group, did you see what gender they was talking about?
Nah, I didn't. But I mean,
It's
I
mostly
figured
the male figure due to the
I
fact that we've been taught since day one
be
to
tough.
suppress our feelings. You weak if you talk about your feelings. You know what I'm saying? You're not a man. So you know what I'm saying? That's the reason why it's mostly on the male side. Both
Yeah.
sides, it happens on both sides, but on the majority on the male side due to those factors.
Yeah. And then you got to think about, you know what I'm saying, when you think about it like that, you got to think about women who are raised by just their fathers, or you know what I'm saying, or not even women that's just raised by only their father, but women who are like strongly driven by their father's guidance. That's probably putting it on the women as well. Like, you know what I'm saying, to, like you said, suppress that and suck it up and not talk about it. Um but yeah, I mean I think that's the number one killer. Stress, anxiety, not being able to talk about it because like you said, we want to be too tough, or you know what I'm saying, we too embarrassed, got an ego, don't want everybody to think our life is perfect. And
Mm.
we need to understand, ain't nobody perfect. We all struggle. Got to be vulnerable, be able to talk about it. So
Everybody is struggling with something. Everybody is struggling with something or some things. So that is very, very important for people to digest and understand and process that every single person on this planet is struggling with something. And now it's getting even worse with our children. They're having all these mental problems. Uh, One of the big reasons is they walk around with $1 billion multimedia center in their pocket that gives them unlimited access to absolutely anything and every subject on the earth, but they don't spend even half, and that's an understatement. They don't even spend 30% of the time with physical interaction with people one on one or one to many in a physical, real environment. They don't spend as much time as they do online looking at a screen all day, every day, and this affects their mental health significantly. I'm over 50. We grew up playing stickball in the street, going to the park, playing baseball, playing football in the park, running around in the backyard, riding bicycles, breathing the fresh air, seeing it, nature, a little bit of nature, just doing stuff that was normal to help you neurologically, mentally, physically, and emotionally to be well rounded. But now our kids are just looking at a screen all day, and that is very, very unhealthy. A lot of people, matter of fact, a lot of students in especially in the teen age range, during COVID, when people were forced to do online schooling, a lot of people became depressed. My daughter is even one of them, and she's been an honor student uh, all her life, and she went down, down, down because no interaction with other kids and things like that. So we have to like push our kids, our grandkids, and any young person to get involved in outside activity and get involved in seeing people face to face and communicating with people face to face instead of just online. Drop the mic, tap in.
Yeah, and I would also fall back again and say that we need to learn how to distinguish um, mental health from mental illness or mental sickness, so to say. Um, when sometimes the average person can hear the word mental health and take it in a negative connotation, thinking that mental health is just saying that there's something wrong mentally. But again, I want to reiterate on the definition of mental health. Mental health is simply a person's emotional, psychological, and social well being. And then on this next slide, what is mental health? What is a mental health issue? It is a condition that affects a person's thinking, emotions, or behavior. So if we jump to the fifth slide I have on here, some signs of mental health issues is the inability to focus or express oneself, feeling sad, hopeless, or helpless, feeling irritable, frustrated, or restless, excessive anger or hostility, changes in appetite of health, decline personal care, increased sensitivity to sight, sound, smell, or touch, feeling disconnected from oneself or one's surroundings. Those are just a few signs of mental issues. I went online, Googled signs of mental issues, and just different things on mental health, and there's a ton of information. So this right here is just a few things, that people can look for when looking for signs of mental issues. Some tips to maintain mental health. We can practice mindfulness or meditation, stay active and eat well, journal, connect with friends, set boundaries, seek support systems, and professional help.
But yeah, I don't know about that eat well part. 'Cause it gotta be
Mhm.
more. It gotta be more clear when you say eat well. Some
Yeah,
people eat well think they mean eat a lot, but
yeah,
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people do too to deal with their stress. They they
Mhm.
eat and eat and eat. You
Yeah,
know
Yeah.
what I'm
eat well means to be eat healthy,
saying?
hmm
not eat a lot. But
Not
yeah,
Yeah,
not do a round robin with the fast food restaurants.
yeah. I'm glad you pointed that out.
yeah.
definitely meditation is a great tool to use. I actually practice it myself, and someone that is very active and sometimes overactive. Sometimes you got to learn how to quiet the mind, and meditation is a good form to do that. And also, you learn things about yourself sometimes when you just sit still and be quiet and quiet the mind and observe what's going on around you.
hmm And
John?
practicing mindful. Yeah, go
Mhm.
ahead.
No, no, go ahead. I was just reading.
hmm And practicing mindfulness that kind of falls a little hand in hand with meditation, but it can be separate. Again, to reiterate, like you said, we got to learn to be able to sit peacefully and quietly and just quiet the mind and become grounded and just become get into the moment. To me, that's what practicing mindfulness is: being in the moment, being able to just quiet your whole self down and just feel what's going on and just let things flow, acknowledge it, accept it, and move from there. And then you can move right into meditation if need be. I also practice meditation. I don't do it as much as I need to and want to be doing. it, but
Man,
meditation is definitely is good.
I got a whole meditation pillow, man, that I sit on, especially just for that.
Yeah,
Where I can sit in the lotus, uh, uh, uh in the lotus form.
yeah. I don't do a whole lot. I actually don't do any journaling. The closest thing I might do to journaling is writing music. That can kind of be an aspect of journaling because you're sitting down and you're writing. You're kind of expressing what's inside of you, writing things down, being creative, having an outpour through writing, connecting with friends. I think that's a very important one. But a lot of times, people with mental health issues might find it very difficult to connect with friends, depending on how the illness came about. It might be a tough thing for people to do as far as connecting with friends. They might not even be able to trust people as friends because they could have been through some things in their past, um, that have that may trigger them when it comes down to actually trying to trust people and have people as friends. And I can speak of that from my own personal experiences. I feel like now when I reflect and look back at some of my past incidents and things that I went through, I realized that um, I suffer from trauma. I feel like trauma is an aspect of mental health issue as well. And just to touch back on the connecting with friends thing, that's a traumatic uh, memory for me. So it takes me a long time to trust people. It takes me a
Yeah.
long time to allow someone in my circle and consider them a friend. Because been some things done back then.
Yeah, I was definitely going to say that you got to be careful who your friends are. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody ain't your friend, but you also got to be
Mhm,
careful with what you journal. You know what I'm saying? You
mhm,
can't, because you can also journal. You can be writing down negative things, and you know what I'm saying. If you understand when you journal, when you write things, that's also a way of affirmation to affirm something.
mhm.
And so you have to be careful the way you journal. When you journal, you kind of will want to be more on a positive effect. And also, just to recommend a book out there for people that's watching this, Project 369. You know what I'm saying? It'll walk you through how to journal and be more positive, to help better your mental mind state. So, you know what I'm saying? That's something good to look at. 369 method.
And to touch back on the view that you just gave on journaling from a negative perspective, I think if people get to a point where they're like really understanding what they're going through, if they have to start out journaling from a negative place, then they need to be able to more like uh, pull themselves through or use their mind to cut through the negativity and kind of bring themselves out of that. So if they're starting out with a negative affirmation, that could be them accepting what it
Which is going to
is,
confirm
what
more
it
negativity.
is. It
Like
could be
attracts like, and dislike attracts dislike, bro.
Yeah, you can't. That's
no,
I
no, no, no.
understand where
Oh,
you're
y'all
going.
gotta
Yeah,
y'all gotta hold up on that one because you're not letting me unfold the thought.
unfold it.
What yeah, I'm gonna do that. What I'm saying is if you start out journaling from a negative place, if someone is already in a negative place, they don't have a choice but to deal with that place that they're in. So they're able, once they start journaling from that place, they can then use mindfulness, meditation, um, uh, sinking within themselves and allowing what it is that they're going through at the moment to see exactly what's happening and then come up with a solution or find a way out of the dark places that they're in. And I'm speaking that from
Personal experience.
I'm speaking that from my personal experience as well. So again, being in a negative dark place is not always a bad thing if you understand how you got there and how to pull yourself out of it. Otherwise, if you're there and you can't do that, then you'll probably end up staying there.
Well, from knowing you for 15 plus years and knowing that you've been in the negative, dark place for 15 plus years, I would have to negate what you just said from that perspective, because when it's like this. If you're digging a grave, that's, let's say that's negative. Okay. Say somebody's forcing you to dig a grave, but they leave and they ain't never coming back. But you keep digging, and you say, well, I know I'm being forced to dig this grave, but 20 days goes by and you're still out there digging graves and nobody's coming back. You have to start to look and at a positive, but you also have to like understand that when you write that negative down, it's like digging more negative. It's like digging more grave for yourself. And everybody goes through negative spaces. Every single body. That's what I was saying earlier. Everybody. I think I started the podcast off like that. Every single person has at least one negative or multiple negative situations in their life. And if they choose to focus at all on their negative, and journaling your negative is focusing on your negative, then you're
get
digging
more.
that ditch further. It's no way around it. It's a gravitational type of deal. If you go on the highest roof, you can say, no, I don't believe in gravity. I'm gonna jump my black ass off, and you're gonna hit the ground just like anybody else. Whether you're the most negative person in the world or the most positive person in the world, if you jump off the building, everybody's going down. If you journal negative, you're digging into that negative. Not saying that you can't pull yourself out, but if I start from my negative place, journaling what is positive in my life, saying, well, my wife got upset with me the other day. Now I'm thinking that, but I'm going to journal, man, my wife cooked for me at least one time in the past 6 months. If it's only one time in the past 6 months, I'm going to write that down versus, man, she been mad at me for fucking 5 months and 29 damn days.
Okay, Will. So exactly what you just said, the scenario that you created with you and your wife is exactly what I just got through saying about journaling. Okay. All right. So you guys saying that is not what I said. What did I say?
It's not.
Your exact words was you sat there and said to affirm the negativity, to write it down. Will just gave you an explanation of how to not write it down, which was the total opposite of what you just said.
Right.
Because what your explanation was, you were saying, oh, well, that's the only place they got to start from. Then that's the only thing they got to write down. That's why I laughed when you said that. That's in your mindset. Here we talking about mental health, and right now you're just confirming the worst thing to do. You're
Okay.
affirming the negativity. Like Will said, everybody has a negative thing going on in their life, but I can't focus on the negativity. I need to focus on the positivity so I can have a positive outcome. But if I write down and affirm the negativity, guess what's going to happen? More negativity.
Okay, did Will not just say that his wife using
Yes.
this?
Mhm.
Did he just not said he if he start in his journal from the negative, he would say that his wife did not do such and
No, he
such.
didn't. He said in his
But I
He
heat.
said
said
I
he
wouldn't.
wouldn't. He said he wouldn't write that. He said he would write the good that she did. And I'm gonna jump on that and say I think the best thing, because every negative thing in life, everything in life has opposite side to it. Like every, you know what I'm saying?
Reactions.
That's it. So if whatever your negative is in life, you should look at like what's positive about that negative, because everything that goes on in our life that's bad, or everything that's, you know, traumatizing, there's another side to that that's also good. Like, yes, this bad may have happened, but this bad thing caused this good thing to happen. Everything has an opposite side, a heads and the tails, everything.
And
So
again, that's the
I think
same
they're
exact
saying,
thing that I was saying.
yeah, but so what they're saying is what you said was to write down the negative. They're telling you, no, don't write down the negative part of that. They're saying if that negative part was tails, you write down heads, is what they're saying. You write that.
Okay, so
You
what is what's the difference in writing it down and acknowledging it in your head? What's the difference?
The same
In
thing.
order for you,
The
in
same
order
difference.
for you,
The
in order
difference
for
is
you,
you bring it into life. You wrote it
That's what I'm
down.
about to say.
That's
The same
affirming.
thing. It's the same thing as thinking something negative and then speaking it. Instead of when you think something negative, you're supposed to speak the opposite as well. You know what I'm saying? What you speak is more powerful than you know what I'm saying.
What you think.
So it's the same
Actions
thing.
speak louder than words. You know what I'm saying? Thoughts, you know what I'm saying? When you think something, instead of me thinking that there's somebody that we ain't gonna say the exact incident, but an incident happened, you wanted to kill somebody. In your head, you wanted to kill that boy, but you didn't, did you? You remain
But when you
active
write it
positive.
down,
So
now
you got
you're getting
a more
closer
positive
to
outcome.
that might happen.
all right. So, in order for you to write something, you have to think of it first. If you think of something and say it, it's almost the same thing as writing it.
But
If
you're
it's
not getting
if
the whole point. Go ahead. You're go ahead.
I don't agree with that though, because
You're
you
not getting the whole point.
sometimes you can think without even like sometimes your thoughts are automatic, but
Exactly.
you can stop yourself from writing something. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes when you think something, you already thought it. You can't really stop yourself from thinking it.
Pre-program.
You can prevent yourself from speaking. You can prevent yourself from writing. But some thoughts are, you know what I'm saying, subconscious. Like you can't.
Automatic.
Yeah.
Automatic negative thoughts. They're automatic. Yeah, that's why I tell my kids and my mentees, I say, look, it might sound crazy to you, but every day when you get up, you have to look at yourself as a computer. It sounds crazy as hell, but when you get up, you look at yourself as a computer, and that laser is going on that hard drive writing, and it never ever stops writing.
And then
So
our
when you
thoughts
think,
are
Even
when
when
you
you
start
sleep.
writing down negative, you're just digging and digging and pushing forth and drawing more negative to you. And I just for knowing Phil, and I've said it before, if I had the work ethic of Phil Davis, I would be a billionaire, point blank, period. Because of the other things that I know. But no, I'm not staying up to 2 o'clock in the morning working. Now, when I was 29, I would, and in the music and entertainment, and I could say that I would have been a billionaire with that, but I didn't understand uh the people. I didn't understand going out and getting better people, not knocking anybody that I dealt with, but their mindset was in the wrong place at that time 20 plus years ago. And I kept getting people that was in that mind state. Most of them had some type of mental health issue. I can see that hindsight 2020. But the things that I've learned over the years, if I had Phil's work ethic, I just don't see how I could be a billionaire. I don't see it. I just can't see it. Because I understand that with that work ethic and the positive that I know, my life would go up higher. But anyway, I understand where Phil's coming from, but I want him to. I says that when you write it down, it's like in the Bible or the scripts, right? Or in the scripts, however you want to look at it. In Habakkuk 2:2, it says, write the vision on tablets. These days, you writing on paper. You're confirming it. You're further embedding it into your subconscious mind or your inner God, and your inner God does not know the difference between reality and what's not real. That's why when people watch TV over and over on these certain shows, they can name everybody on the show. They know who the family is. They get so embedded they think it's real. It's more realer than their own family, and they have that connection with them, and they believe it. They feel that it's real and it's fake. It's acting, but they think it's real.
okay.
he understands this because I mean, my whole life he wouldn't let me say things out of my mouth that if it came to my like he didn't allow me to say can't. He didn't allow me like if I'm not feeling well, he told me not to say I'm sick. You know what I'm saying? Say I'm not feeling well. So I know he get what we're saying. You know what I'm saying? Words have power. You know what I'm saying? The mind is one thing, but when you speaking it, those words are powerful. Same thing with writing. You writing it in stone.
But exactly. I was about to say writing is even more powerful than speaking it. Because that's a part
everything,
of an action. That's a part of an
everything that
action. Yeah. Huh? Go ahead, Will.
everything that I wrote down up until before I turned 35 came true. Even purchasing the house I grew up in, even though I let it go, it came true. My mentors would always tell me, write this down, write your goals down, know your next 5 goals. I became uh it just so whatever obsession with it. I wanted certain cars, wrote them down, end up with 2 of them. I mean, that writing and getting up and looking at it and stuff like that, it's just so powerful. It's crazy. And matter of
Yeah,
fact, Bill told me right after I had accomplished a bunch of those goals, probably about 3 years afterwards. This is probably about 11, 12 years ago. I remember Phil telling me, once you get to a certain point, don't don't stop. And I remember there's been times when I stopped, but anyway, it's all mental, but writing it down makes it so much more powerful.
100%. That's why I was saying, y'all need to go look up Project 369. Understand the power behind 3, 6, and the 9. Especially when you use it, when you write it down. Things that you focus on, not the negative part, the positive. It's more easy, and that's another thing. It's more easy for us to be negative than it is for us to be positive. That's why we quick to say that. Oh, well, if I think negative, then I got to do this. No, you don't. It's just easier for you to do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've even heard that it takes 11 positives to dilute one negative. I don't know where they get the algorithm from, but I've heard
Yeah,
things like that.
yeah. We think backwards, man. We think
Well, yeah, I'm gonna interject this. When a person reaches the level of God body and they really infuse that within themselves and realize that they have total control over everything and realize that their mind is the ultimate power, then none of that other stuff matters. So it doesn't matter if it's a good or bad or negative or positive situation. When you reach that level, that's when you have full control.
But
God
none of
body.
us has met nobody that met God body. Because the only person that's probably met God body is Elon, bro. Because anybody that controls everything is not hurting for anything.
I was about to
Uh,
say, well,
well,
the mind can't be the only ultimate power either, because
Nope.
we can't just move things with our mind. We can't just, what I'm
Nope.
saying, that it requires work. It requires, what
Action.
I'm saying, action. Like, so the mind can't just be the only ultimate power.
That's why I just said. That's why I said none of us in here has reached it. Then the only person that's reached that, I would say Elon Musk, because he uses his
well,
brain, he put it into action, and he's the richest man on the planet. Nah, that's God
well,
body. That's the
well.
true definition of God body.
I'll tell y'all what. 100%. I know for a fact that I've reached God body. I have reached God body in my past, and I am right back on the path to reconnect to God body. I know it exists. I know I've been there, and I know that I'm going back there. We all have that same capability.
Nobody said nobody didn't have the capability. I'm just saying ain't nobody
Right.
got it right now.
I'm
Yeah.
saying
But
it's more than mine though. Is what
what
I'm
I'm
saying.
saying
It's
is,
definitely more than mine. Go
what
ahead.
I'm saying is, I've already been there. There's a way for you to get there, and there's a way for you to lose it. Sometimes when you get to a certain point, you lose it. You have to lose it to learn a lesson, or you can get to a point and you can lose it because of your arrogance. You can lose it because of other things. I won't go into depth on that, but I've been on God body status, and I'm going back there soon.
I'm going to.
I know you are.
So what we doing, man?
All right, we'll go on to the next slide. Things we've done to maintain mental health.
I just came from the gym.
Yep, that's one thing that you can do to maintain mental health.
Yeah, I was gonna say earlier when before we got deep into everything else that you know what I'm saying, like just what we feeding our appetite. Like appetite ain't just like food either. It's like what we watching, what we you know what I'm saying, going to sleep to, waking up to, what we entertaining ourselves with. Those things also those that's when we were talking about the mind, those things influence the mind. So like when we were saying we have the time to stop ourselves from writing something or stop ourselves from speaking something. But the reason we can't, you know what I'm saying, sometimes stop our mind from thinking in something,
Subconscious.
certain things, subconscious, because of what we putting in our bodies, you know what I'm saying, what we putting in,
Conscious.
what we looking at, what we listening to, you know what I'm saying, what we reading and what we eating. Like, you know, what comes in every hole in our body, basically.
You
No
definitely. Well, you
diggity.
been? Did you
Pause.
read? You been reading that book that I told you about?
Nah, I ain't read it
Okay.
yet, but
The way you're
I mean
talking right
that's
now, sound like you've been reading a little bit. But yeah, you definitely, you know what I'm saying, your mental food is definitely what you watch because you pay attention, you break it down. Television, it tells a vision. And when you
They
tune
lie
in,
to your vision.
and when you tune into that channel, you're watching a program. So
Program.
you got to understand everything that's going on every day that y'all don't even understand. That's really going on in your subconscious. People don't even. Well, what they do talking about? He sound like some old meditating guru talking about conscious and subconscious. Yes, we all have one by default.
And these
And when you're
devils know
awake,
it.
and when you're awake, consciously is what you're receiving when you're awake. When you're watching TV, when you're the food that you're eating, the music that you're listening to. That's why I stopped being a rapper when I started understanding frequencies, 808s, and yes, I hardly watch TV. If I do watch something, I'll try to watch something that's informational. You got to understand that you're attacking your conscious mind, your mental every day, just from that aspect. And when you go to sleep, like Hill said, some of us be scrolling on social media until we fall asleep. You're not even knowing you're programming yourself, watching all this negativity right before you go to sleep, not knowing that your subconscious mind is taking in this information and is still operating while you're asleep.
Yeah, we are bombarded on a daily, second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. We have to get to a point where we're able to discern. And I think we can reach, we can begin reaching those points back on this by using the things that we talked about on the other slides in the beginning, using mindfulness and meditation, becoming more grounded as possible, becoming aware of what's going on in our surroundings, becoming aware of what's going on internally, becoming aware of what's going on in our minds, and also um, television. It programs other people. Other people can bring a certain energy around you. Other people can bring a certain spirit around you. So
Mhm.
we're like constantly in battle for our sanity on a daily basis. And I think um, becoming grounded and mindful of these things is where we can tap that source, that God body source, to begin to overcome. It's an ongoing battle, but I also feel like there's a thing like a cipher that we are creating. Once that cipher uh, gets full blown in motion and spinning, then it will be a point where none of those things will be able to affect you unconsciously. That there will be like a shield around you, so to say, that will prevent anything from touching you, anything from distracting you, anything from disturbing you. And that's when you will have tapped into the God body. And once
Monk
you
mode.
and once you tap God body, the things that you will be able to do will become supernatural. You'll be able to move things like what Hassan, somebody was saying, they never saw anyone being able to move anything with their minds. People, that when you reach God body, you will tap the abilities to do that, to move things instantly, to instantly manifest things, to instantly read minds, telekinesis, all of your extra senses will be activated. And I think I'll slow down from there because I'm going a little bit out there, but I'm just giving y'all a little peek of what it's like to be tapped into God body. It's literally God body.
Basically, just not being of the world. We too much of the world, and you know what I'm saying, it's pretty hard to not have every little piece, you know what I'm saying, like small little pieces of different parts of the world, you know what I'm saying. But we got to get back to that spiritual realm, like you. That's basically what you're saying. Because we're of the world. I mean, uh, eliminate all the things that we're doing recreationally. You know what I'm saying, living that boring lifestyle until it becomes fun and a lifestyle that we realize is bringing us to a place where we're our best self. God, buddy.
Yeah, any word that doesn't have a definition doesn't mean anything to me, man. That's why I was just looking
Well,
up. That's a
well,
slang.
God, the def,
That's a slang word.
yeah,
So I can't.
Which
the,
which word?
I
the,
don't.
Which
the,
word?
God body. I
the,
just looked it up. That is a
Oh,
slang word.
the
I can't operate my life off of slang. I operate my life off of actuality. And if it doesn't have a definition, in my terms, like I said, I'm not shooting it down. That's cool. That anybody that feels that way, that's cool. I'm just speaking on my preference. If it doesn't have a definition, it doesn't have a meaning.
well, the definition of God body is a physical
A
being.
slang, a slang. I just looked it up. It is a
Mhm.
urban slang. It doesn't even
Yeah,
have a definition.
yeah. So my definition of God body is a physical being becoming a God, awakening to the fact that he is a God, and awakening to the facts and understanding that he is a God and knowing how to function as a God, realizing all of his capabilities and being able to use them as a creator, a God.
Yeah, that's your
We're
mind.
all we're all gods. Well, I wouldn't say we're all gods because some of
You
us are
are. You're an
demons.
extension. You yeah, yeah,
Some of
yeah,
us are demons.
yeah,
Some of
yeah.
us are demons and some of us are devils. But I'm a
Mhm.
God. I'm a God in school, taking my lessons to reclaim my throne. And every one of us on this panel right here are in the same boat. That's why you guys were chosen by me to do what we're doing now, because I know and I see that it's in you. We're all gods. I am a God, and I'm claiming it, and and I'm gonna continue claiming it. When I realized when I woke up and realized that I was a God and started doing all these amazing things, it was overload for me. So I ended up losing it. This time I'm not gonna lose it.
Yeah, no, we all are an extension of God. We are made in God's image. So once we understand that, not and don't take it overboard and say, "Oh yeah, I'm the God." Now you tripping, but you
Yeah.
are
that's
an
what I was about to.
extension.
That's what I was about to say.
You're an
Yes.
extension of God, and you got to utilize that. We are our creators. We've all created life. We got children. You created life the same way. You can also create and invent other things that could economically help the world as well if you put your mind to it. We be in a lot of negative circumstances, and we always focus on the negative. Just because you're in a negative situation doesn't mean you have to focus on the negative situation. You can turn that negative situation into a positive and use that as motivation to drive you to do what you need to do. But everybody doesn't have that mindset, which is why it needs to be talked about, and which is why it needs to be more understood.
Yeah. A lot of people like a lot of people like to react with that same reaction. You just said you're God. You are God. They always the way their reaction is sort of like they want you to feel bad about saying that you are a God, and they twist it and try to say that you're saying that you are God, and then they try to talk down on you and say you're not God. Who do you think you are? And every time I run across people like that, Kanye West jumps in my head. I just told you who I thought I was. A god.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a god.
They can't
Would you prefer me to say I'm a nigga? Would you prefer me to say I'm a devil? I'm a demon? I'm a god.
Mm-hmm.
A god that was created by the creator and put here to reclaim my throne.
Yeah, I mean, everybody on this earth was put. That's what we was here put to do. We was put here to create. That's everybody, every single person on this world.
Go and replenish.
Yeah. There's not one person who wasn't put here to do that. It's just everybody ain't doing it.
Yeah,
and those are the ones that cast the stones. They're not doing it. They're afraid to do it. They are afraid to take on the duties. They don't want to be responsible for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Those are not gods. They're exactly what they are supposed to be. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do.
Distracting people and
Let 'em.
upsetting their mental health.
Don't judge them. Just let them be who they gonna be, man. Don't judge them. Just let them be who they gonna be, whoever they are. We got speaking doggone pronouns and stuff. Them and they. Let them be what they gonna be, man. It is what it is. So yeah, here we go on to the next one. Check on yourself and others you care about, and don't be afraid to reach. Don't be afraid to reach out.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be embarrassed. Put your ego in your pocket. Get help.
Shoot,
Tap in.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, man. If y'all
that
like
wraps
it
up.
Go ahead. Oh, all right, no.
I say, yeah, that wraps it up pretty much. Check on yourself and others you care about. Don't be afraid to reach out.
Yeah, I was about. Are we ending it? I was about to say yeah, because it's been too many times where, like somebody's ran across my mind, or I came across somebody and ducked them or something, and you know what I'm saying, I just need to check on them and talk to them, or they reached out, you know, and they passed like the next day or in a week or something like that, and that person mentally they've been struggling, and they handle their mental situation in ways that caused their death. I can think of 4 people right now that exact thing happened to, and I'm just like, yeah, perfectly said. Check on yourself and others that you care about. Don't hesitate to reach out when that person come across your mind, or when they're reaching out to you, or you know what I'm saying, their spirit is tugging at you. Check on them, check in with them, tap in with them, because yeah, like I said, it's been one too many times where it's been on my spirit to do that and I didn't do it, and I know what that person is going through mentally, and that caused, you know, their mental health was causing them to, you know, do certain things and act in certain ways that caused them to die. So yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. And I would add, hurt people hurt people. You're gonna have some people that thrive off the pain of other people. You're gonna have some people that are happy to see other people struggling. If you are one of those people who may be needing someone to reach out to, and you reach out to someone and that person in return gives you even more pain and negativity, then you might need to flip the script and help bring that person out of their darkness from the lessons that you've learned on your way to your darkness, if that makes sense. Because if you're reaching out to someone and they're trying to make you feel worse than you are feeling, they obviously feel worse than you. That's where the discernment needs to come in at. And that could potentially begin the healing for you and that person that you reached out to. And I dropped the mic.